Good evening, everybody. I'm Muriel. I'm the mayor of Washington, D.C. I'm joined by the police chief, the 1D commander, and the Ward 6 council member, Charles Allen. We are here to ask for the public's help in addressing some very significant incidents that happened in the District of Columbia over the last several days. First, let me talk about the tragic shooting of a 16-year-old here in Ward 6 in the 1200 block of I Street Southeast. Her name was Brianna McMillan, and she was fatally shot near her home. We're asking, because we know many people were near the scene and near to the scene, to continue to work with MPD, call 911 or a tips line to let us know any information about Brianna's death. It is so important that we hear from you so that we can get a brutal killer off of our streets. The chief will also provide some additional information about a double shooting that occurred earlier today in the 600 block of L Street Southeast. Tragically, one of those victims died as well. Interesting. Let me also say that the chief can provide additional information about a shooting we learned about just before coming here that's being investigated by the police currently in the 1300 block of Howard Road. For each of these incidents, we want to ask members of the public to call 202-727-9099 so that we can bring these people to justice. In each case of a homicide in the District of Columbia, there is a $25,000 reward offered for information leading to an arrest. So with that, let me turn to the chief to provide a brief update about how you can help.
All right, good evening. We have three cases to discuss. As the mayor said earlier this afternoon around 1:45 p.m., officers heard the sounds of gunshots in the area of 6th and L. When officers arrived on the scene, they found two adults, an adult male and an adult female, suffering from gunshot wounds. The adult male was brought to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. At this time, it appears that the victims, this was not a random case, it appears that the victims and the suspect did know each other, and it does not appear that this case in any way is related to the shooting of Brianna. And I'll talk about Brianna McMillan's shooting real briefly. On Friday, November 25th, at about 11:42 a.m., officers received the sound for the call of gunshots. There were multiple shots fired in the 1200 block of I Street. When we arrived on the scene, we found Brianna, a 16-year-old female, with a fatal gunshot wound. It is our belief that there were several people outside at the time of the shooting. It appears at least one suspect fired multiple times indiscriminately during that occasion, and as a result of that reckless behavior, we lost one of our 16-year-old kids. The last incident, and we have homicide investigators on the scene right now around 4 o'clock this afternoon in the 1300 block of Howard Road Southeast. We had an adult male that was shot. I do not have a lot of details on that case right now, but the male that was shot was pronounced dead. We have not been able to identify him as of yet. As I said, our homicide detectives are on the scene now. We'll be able to take questions in just a second. Councilmember Allen would like to make a couple remarks.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Ms. Mayor. The loss of any life, of course, is devastating. Absolutely horrific the day after Thanksgiving to have young Brianna shot down as she's visiting family, and implore the public's assistance in making sure if you've got tips, if you've got information, as the mayor said, please make sure that you share that. I'm really proud of our police force. The chief, Commander Kane of the 1st District, and all the men and women of our police force are working this aggressively. I think they've got good information, but they are working hard. They need the public's help. And I also want to thank the mayor for taking this so urgently and aggressively as well, to not only have the loss of life the other day, but again today with this shooting. I am thankful for MPD and for the work that they're doing to really try to make sure we find who these suspects are and bring them to justice and get them off our streets. And so I appreciate that. Thank you, Ms. Mayor.
Thank you. We'll take a few questions.
Steve, can you talk a little bit about Brianna's murder? What do you think may have been happening at that time? I mean, it was just a day after Thanksgiving. A lot of people, off school, probably off of work. Do you think there were multiple shots fired?
Yeah, like I said, it was
multiple people firing is what I meant.
Well, it's not clear how many folks were firing, but we did find a number of shell casings in the area. We did have at least one person, like I said, who had fired multiple times. There was a large group of people out there. It was extremely reckless behavior. And as a result, like I said, we lost one of our young kids unnecessarily. It looks like she was the unintended victim in this case.
Chief, do you have any suspect information or any evidence that any of the crimes might have been caught on surveillance video?
We have our detectives have been over there scouring that area. There is multiple videos in the area over there, and I can tell you we have made significant progress in the case. But at this time, we don't have enough of a probable cause to make an arrest.
Chief, do you know at this point if it was gang-related? Because we did see some pictures that might have indicated that on social media.
We don't have any indication at this time that it was gang-related. In fact, as I said, because Brianna was the unintended target, it's hard to say exactly why that. Like I said, there may have been multiple people firing, but we know at least one person fired multiple times, and it's hard to say what the motive was for the shooting at this point.
The one from today, you have any more? We saw a car in the video. Was this like a carjacking situation?
No, not at all. It looks like there was an argument between parties who knew each other. As a result of that argument, shots were fired, and an adult male was killed. We have not released the name of that adult yet because we have not had a chance to notify his family. But we don't have that yet. But it does appear that the victims did know the suspect in the case.
Folks who live in that area say they would like to see more patrols on the street. Is there anything you can say about current patrols in these high crime areas and any plans to increase them?
Yeah, the shooting today at 6th and L Street, I don't think you would necessarily say that's a high crime area. Matter of fact, that's a very unusual area for a shooting like that to occur. The area over in Potomac Gardens in the past, we have had some issues there. The housing police and the Metropolitan Police Department work very cooperatively to have significant patrols over there. I don't think that the shooting that occurred the other day was because of a lack of patrols. So to the extent that folks are asking for more patrols over there, obviously we will step up patrols because of this incident. One of the keys that we really want to impress upon people is that there were multiple people out there. Somebody probably does have some information. If they could give us a call and share that with us, I think it would be helpful. I think that this type of a crime, when you lose a kid like this in our community, I think that touches us all. I think people are going to really be willing to come forward in a case like this.
Any guns recovered from any of these shootings?
We do have evidence recovered from a lot of these scenes, but I can't talk about that right now.
What kind of weapons are being used? Are these handguns or higher weapons?
That would be talking about the evidence. It's premature to talk about the evidence at this point in the case, but I can tell you some significant evidence has been recovered from these scenes.
Can you tell us anything about the barbershop robbery in front of you?
There was a robbery out in the county. Seat Pleasant police followed the vehicle into the district, followed the suspects into the district. The suspects ran from the vehicle. MPD assisted the Seat Pleasant Police Department with making some stops in the case. And as a result, I think we have 2 folks in custody that are responsible for the robbery out in Seat Pleasant, Maryland.
You're still looking for the person who fired at police?
The third person is still at large, yes. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.